Digimodify! Podcast activate!
Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 74 of Lost in Translationmon. I'm May.
And I'm Jay.
This week we watched Lionheart.
Or the kind-hearted hero, Leomon, dies.
And give a little bit.
Or the name's Dukemon. Holy ultimate evolution. Actually, sorry, no, this is him saying it. My name's Dukemon. Holy ultimate evolution.
Oh, you're giving him the English voice.
Yes.
I like his like Japanese voice.
It's still not that good.
I like him.
It's still like a 12-year-old is saying it.
I don't care. I love him. He's my friend.
Your name is Dukemon.
He's my friend. He's shaped like a friend.
I'm a royal knight. Long live the queen.
For Digi-News this week, there's not much Digi-News, nothing much happened this week. An NX Edge Alphamon has been revealed.
No, it's the Nintendo Switch. We've already established that.
No. But, so you know that Omegamon that I have that's kind of like small and has like the little grey stand and it's kind of cute?
I wouldn't call it cute.
The one with the derp eyes.
The one with that has multiple eye choices that are exactly the same?
Yep. Yeah, there's now an Alphamon one and I really like Alphamon.
Why?
He evolves from Doraemon.
Who?
Doraemon. He's
Who?
the one in X Evolution, the purple dog.
Oh,
He's
okay.
a dog.
I guess.
He's my friend.
He's not really a dog. It's a fuzzy lizard.
Oh, he's a dog. He's like, it's a
Look,
dog.
if I like stapled a wig to a Komodo dragon, that doesn't make it a dog.
Yeah, but I love him. I love him.
Sure, whatever.
For Lost in News Lately-mon this week, there's just a bit of Applimon stuff, I guess. We covered Applimonsters together, the sub of the first 3 episodes.
Oh, what a harrowing experience.
Yeah, totally. You totally didn't love it at all.
Oh,
And episode 4 for that is coming soon. I also have my solo episode for episode 4, which is just me talking about the Raw. But I'm not going to be doing any more solo episodes, just with Jay now, because I can legitimately not handle doing 3 episodes a week. Considering this week, I think it added up to doing about 4 or 5 episodes a week, because I did the 3 ones with Jay, and then I did my solo episode, then I did my normal episode.
it's a bit much. You do a bit too much work.
Yeah, so probably not going to be doing 3 episodes a week anymore, probably just, our normal episode, which is this, and then us covering Applimon like, probably the same weekend, because, like, that's I don't want to pull Jay out of his schedule too much. And that's probably the best time for it. So sorry, I won't be doing 3 episodes a week. I'll die.
Surprise.
Yeah. I love doing the podcast, but that's a lot of content, and
You're not content with that.
no, it was also very nice. It was also like pushing me down a bit, but who cares, right?
I do.
I care. Langley doesn't care actually.
Langley's an asshole.
Langley doesn't love me.
What a terrible dog.
Langley's my dog, and he.
What a terrible dog.
You love him.
What an awful night for a curse.
And on to Obnoxious Synopsis. The first episode that we're watching this week is called Lionheart. What do you think will happen this episode?
So once upon a time, when I was really young, I was watching this episode of Narnia, the really old TV show.
Yep.
And like all these witches gathered around the lion and like totally murdered him, and I found that really traumatic. And I'm basically assuming this is exactly what's going to happen in this episode.
Right.
Because, I mean, Leomon's basically Jesus, right?
I mean, is he in this? He's like a super hot buff dude.
A buff,
Is he?
super hot.
Buff, super hot, right?
That's what Jesus was, wasn't he? I mean, you've seen all those times he's on the cross. He's got, like, definition. This is going way too far.
What do you think will annoy you in this episode?
Okay. I mean, I've got no information whatsoever to work with, but I think that it's probably going to focus on Leomon, and yet it's not going to further his relationship with Juri much at all. It's going to be more using him as a lens to sort of further the plot, but in a pointless way.
Right.
That's my best guess.
So what will annoy you about that?
That it's pointless, and it
Oh,
doesn't
right.
advance the relationship between Digimon and partner.
All right, no, that's fair. Do you think it'll be a good episode?
Not really. Actually, you are keeping the title from me.
Well, I said at least one of them has a spoiler title.
Okay, but that means it could be exciting. But
But I'm making you watch the English version both first, so you don't know which one is the thing.
Milkshakes? Who falls asleep because of milkshakes?
Right?
That would have been so good.
I'm so sad I didn't have hindsight and make you watch things.
That would have been really strong.
So what is the rating that you think you'll give it?
6.45.
Oh my god, why do you do this to me? Do you think it'll be filler?
No, not exactly.
The second episode that we're watching this week is called Give a Little Bit. What do you think will happen this episode?
I think that Takada will find out the magic of charity, and he'll drop some coins into a can, and then someone will say thank you, and then go off, and he'll feel really good. He'll have inner peace for the first time in his life. Really?
Wow, you're just reaching.
I don't know. It's impossible.
Do you think anything will annoy you in this episode?
I mean, that it's all filler? I don't know.
So you think this episode will be filler?
Yes.
Right. And do you think it'll be a good episode?
Look, I'm judging entirely based on this name, so no.
And would you be able to rate it at all, or?
I mean, a G kind of looks like a backwards 5.
Okay, so I guess you're going to give it a 5 out of 10?
That's not what G's look like, but they look like a bent over 5.
I don't know.
Yeah, let's give it a 5. That's fine. That'll do.
And you already said that it's going to be filler.
I did.
Alright, well, on to the show then.
Ugh, no information.
There was no information because maybe spoilers.
See you soon.
Bye. Well, I guess kind of after the diddler.
I was totally right about this being all where Leomon dies, and you're like, no, nobody should die, you're party now.
Yeah.
I knew it.
I tried really hard.
Knew he died.
So, because these two episodes were basically a two-parter, technically three-parter because the next episode is also connected, but we're not covering that this week because we thought we were going to have to record early, and I think doing 3 episodes would have probably killed us. But we didn't end up recording early because plans changed, which is good because it gave us more time just to do nothing, which is nice.
That's my favourite. I could do nothing right now.
Anyway, so Lionheart or the kind-hearted hero Leomon dies, which, by the way, I just want to, while we're on this topic, so we know how I said last episode about how the next time on Digimon, it just spoils the whole episode?
Just have him die.
No, the line is, so Leomon just died, and, oh no, Takado's upset. What's this, a dark evolution? I'm like, well, that's the plot. I guess see you guys next week.
No, see you in 2 weeks, because next week that happens.
Yeah, I'm serious. That was the next time on, it was, the first thing happened, then second...
Davis's voice, was that in the English one as well?
No. Oh, what do you mean? Oh, no, this is in the original version.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why I'm using Davis's voice.
Because he does the narration.
I'm so annoyed. Okay, I'm just going to talk about it now. But the end of this episode, and Davis is like, wow, look at that, Takado made a mistake. I'm like, hey, Davis, you realize this should have happened to you?
It really should have. He's the only Goggle kid so far that hasn't happened to him, but he deserves it the most.
Taichi and Takado were, talking about their bad experience. I forced my partner to evolve. I thought it was for the right reason, and, I was trying to save my friends, and I was really upset, and I really wanted to evolve and be the hero and, save everyone. It didn't work out, and Takado's like, yeah... I kind of lost my temper. I just, my friend's Digimon just died, and Taichi's like, wow, that's rough. And Taka's like, yeah, I kind of lost it, and I just really wanted to defeat him, and
Davis goes, yeah, well, I got chased by a peeing turtle. It was awesome. Then he totally evolved.
I almost killed my Digimon and almost killed myself trying to get some action and to impress a girl.
Yeah, I tried to scam my Digimon into evolving, and in the end, it all totally worked out.
And Taichi and Takado just take the goggles off him and go away.
Kick him in the face.
I probably don't hate Davis as much as you do, but that episode kills Davis for me.
I hate him so much.
He was fine. He was okay until that episode. It killed me. He didn't even learn anything from that episode. It was if you scam your friend, he will evolve.
It totally worked. Didn't he evolve in that episode?
Yeah, he evolved in that episode. At the end.
Why?
Because the peeing turtle got angry and was about to kill them.
But it was always going to do that. It chased them that whole time.
Yes.
Okay.
It was Davis Cries Wolfmon.
What a terrible episode. What a terrible season. What a terrible show.
What a terrible night for a curse. So the start of the episode in the English version starts with a voiceover telling the story of Leomon being the light of Digivolution. And
oh no, it doesn't specify Leomon, does it? It just says there was once a light,
yeah,
and then it disappeared, and now...
Yeah, it's obviously talking about Leomon, though. And there's no, narration at this point. There's quite a lot of silence for the first little bit of this episode.
It's really hard for me because I watched this in English first, so there wasn't silence.
Oh, I watched it in Japanese first because I've seen it before.
So I had this problem where this week's a lot harder for me to tell you what differences were because you maybe watch both in English first. A lot of stuff obviously happens and I have a lot of stuff to say, but it's much, much harder to analyze where stuff wasn't. Oh, they didn't say lines here, than when, oh, that's new, they've added something.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Well, there weren't that many changes in these episodes. I mean, there were a bit. There's a bit that I'm going to focus on later, and it's about what Leomon says. But I'll get to that in a bit because I think it's a really important part, and it's probably my main difference. And I'll talk about that later. So Calamon falls out of the cage into a pink and blue vial, and he keeps trying to jump to escape. He keeps on saying, "Jump! Jump!" He's so cute. And then he sees a huge triangle as his reflection.
Was that what that was?
That was his reflection.
Oh, I thought it was like an object coming at him.
No, it was his reflection because he went close to it and then he realised it was him and he backed away and it got smaller.
Oh, I didn't notice.
No, it's his reflection. That's what he is.
It just seemed to me like it would be like, whoa, forward and backwards.
No, that's him.
Alright, fair enough.
Me.
That's clever, I guess.
And then he says that he feels like he's been here a long time ago. And then he says, "No, but I'm a Digimon. I'm a Digimon. I must be a Digimon. So if I'm a Digimon, I have an attack." And he keeps on coming up with different attack names.
His attack names are really funny.
In English, they're silly.
No, the Japanese is funnier, I think. Calamon's more or less powerful attack is way funnier than any of the English stuff.
No, but because his English one, they kind of turn it up to 11, but it kind of loses...
I mean, like, Calamon's Hyper Blaster or something. It's like, whatever.
Yeah.
More or less powerful attack is really funny.
Yeah, no, it's really funny and cute. In the dub, he says the same things, but when he says, "I'm a Digimon," it's... In the original, I took it as him saying, "No, I'm a Digimon, I must be a Digimon." He's trying to convince himself that he's a Digimon.
But I think in the English he says, "I'm some kind of Digimon," which is to say he's not really sure.
No, I think what he says is, "I'm a Digimon, so I must have an attack." And he doesn't say that to reassure himself. He's saying, "Well, I'm a Digimon, so I have an attack." He's saying it because he's stating it. But in the original, he knows that he's not a Digimon, but he's still trying to, tell himself that he is.
Maybe.
So the kids are walking through the desert, and Kenta is telling knock-knock jokes. And we see something that I hope you picked up, and Growlmon's there.
How did he evolve?
And I saw that, and I was just like, oh no. Because I love this show, and
Oh no, a tiny plot hole.
I like it when they don't do plot holes, and I'm just like, but if they do, I'm like, I can look the other way because they're small. But this is just like... In the 2 episodes ago, Gilmon was saying, "I can't evolve because Takado's not here, but I'll help."
The funniest part of this is that as much as it is actually worth complaining about, it has no impact on the plot whatsoever. Because by the time it is relevant, they have, as for a fight or whatever, they've joined back up and he totally could have evolved normally.
Yeah.
There is no reason to have him evolve except to have Kazu and Kenta ride on him.
Yeah, which is fine. It's cute.
And at which point, Kenta is complaining like an asshole. Though, I can't entirely blame him, because he's the only one without a partner still.
Yeah.
And if you were around this group... Okay, if you're split into a group 50-50, and, I don't know, for example, half the group have bars of gold, and you're like, damn, I want a bar of gold.
And then gradually other people who don't have bars of gold get bars of gold. Yeah.
And not even, for good reasons. They just stumble upon them like, oh, hey, I've got a bar of gold now. And then you're just the one there like, it's just me. But also the bars of gold are your friends, and also they can shoot missiles out of their nipples.
Do you think he's going to get one?
Yeah, I do. I don't know. It'll probably happen.
What do you think his Digimon would be if he were to get one?
I don't care.
What level do you think it would be?
I don't care.
Oh, you just don't care?
My problem here is that, I kind of get why Juri got one now.
Yeah.
Because... Kazu doesn't deserve one. There's no reason for him to have a Digimon. We're at episode 35 at the end of the show.
Yep.
And at the end of episode 35, Gardramon has been totally pointless, and Kazu has been totally pointless. And there's no reason whatsoever that they should be here, except to be vague comic relief.
Yep.
That any of the other kids could have done just fine. So yeah, he's complaining, and Kazu goes, "Hey, we have to get Kelamon and rescue Takado and such. Do you not remember?" But
in the original, Kenta's not really complaining. He's just worried about not getting home safely. And Hirokazu yells at him because he's not thinking about Takado first. And he says, "No, we've got to get back to Takado, and then we've got to find Kelamon." In the dub, Kenta's complaining about being bored, and then he wants to go home. So he's not even complaining for good reason. He's just saying, "I'm bored."
Well, that's
why are you bored? You are in the digital world.
Remember? She was on the bench. She's like, I'm going to go home.
Yeah. People just want to go home because they're bored with the digital world, apparently. Growlmon tells them not to worry about finding Takato because he's big. And I'm like, yes, you are, Growlmon. Why?
That's Spanish for no problem, I think.
Yeah. In the dub, it's just Growlmon asks Kazu what diddly squat means and then says, so it's like no problemo is Spanish for no problem, I think. I love him, I don't care. And I noticed that the music in this scene reminded me a lot of Hurricane Touchdown because it has like that weird sort of bouncy jazz in the original, obviously.
I have no memory of it whatsoever.
Cubimon is carrying Juri and Ruki, and it's really, really cute. I really like it. It makes me really happy.
Susie's playing with tons of bunny ears. It's great.
In the dub, Susie is making rhymes about bunnies instead of just comparing the ears, saying, I wonder who has longer ears.
We know they're exactly the same.
Yeah, but I really like that. No, she's cute. She's fine in the original, right?
She's fine, yeah. So Jen's complaining that Susie's even there, even though she has a partner now. And I'm noticing that in English, Lotmon has a full-on girl voice.
Yep.
For realsies. And also knows who Kulamon is. And, like, why he's been captured. Specifically so that the Digimon Sovereign, whatever, could sort of evolve and protect the world from whatever is threatening them. I don't remember. I think in Japanese they don't say that.
No, Lotmon just explains that the gods need Kalumon to evolve, so they created the Deva so they could find him, and that's about it. He also just sort of says things we already know about Kalumon, that, like, you know, he's the light of evolution, he can be a catalyst for evolution, that's why they want them. In the dub, Lotmon says the gods created Kalumon.
That's stupid and also probably wrong, because then they could just make another one.
Yeah.
I really like how super serious Lotmon is, like, all the time.
Yep. And she's got the same voice, he has the same voice in the original as Terriermon, I believe.
That kind of makes sense. They should. Also, he has a little snaggletooth.
Yeah, I love Lotmon so much, a little bun. But I really like how they've got different personalities, because, you know, it's like a balance between the two. We've got Terriermon, who's insane, and I love him, and we've got this quite serious, very formal sounding, but speaks in kind of like an old-fashioned way of Japanese. Like, he uses, I think it's ware, which is a very, like, old version of I. Mm. And, yeah, he speaks in, like, this not very modern tone, and it's just very different from Terriermon, who just, like, well, don't be boring when you visit! Well, that's in the dub, but sometimes it's not that different in the original. So we see that the Phoenix guy, who I'm trying not to say his name because I don't know his name in Japanese perfectly. I think it's Zuhakmon?
Something like that. Oh yeah, straight up, Lotmon says the name of the god. Like, tells them
but
in Japanese.
I'm also trying not to say it because I don't think I say it properly. I remember we got
You're allowed to give it a shot.
We got like a pronunciation guide from one of our listeners, and they sent it to us, but like I forgot. And all I remember is Qinglongmon because of Wu Qinglong.
Yeah, to me it looks like Zhukiamon, but it's not.
No, I think
Zhu Kiaomon or something like that.
Yeah, I think you might be on the right track. But I might just call him Suzakumon.
Suzakumon is the name of the prison.
Yes, but I think I might just call him Suzakumon.
But that's the name of the prison.
I know, but I should...
Is the prison a Digimon?
No.
Why is it called Suzakumon?
It's a pun, and we actually have a letter in Postmon Pat about that being a pun, I think, for memory. So we will get to that. Back to the Growlmon group, where Growlmon's Growlmon for some reason. Growlmon asked Leomon why he became Juri's partner, and Leomon says, why did you become Takato's? And Growlmon says that he's been there from the start and Takato created him. In the dub, Growlmon says they're like sausages and sauerkraut.
Amazing.
Okay, I guess.
Also...
Yep.
Yeah, Renamon explains that I don't even really know how I ended up Ruki's partner. I just knew I wanted the strongest tamer, and then I was there.
Yeah, no, well, she says she doesn't remember how she got there, like, to the real world.
That was the opening sentence of my explanation.
Yeah, no, I know, but that was, like, the end part. And Cubimon explains, she chose Ruki because she was the strongest and she wanted to evolve. And Ruki's like, yeah. I love Ruki so much.
Yeah. The best.
Like, own it, girl. You are the best. Except for Rio, apparently.
Except that you don't show up ever.
I love her. I don't care.
You've just stopped being around most.
Shows up more than the previous girls we've had in Digimon.
Fair enough. Like, that's not true. Mimi did more.
I love Mimi.
Mimi's
when she was forming the attack force in Adventure.
That was sweet.
And
when she was shooting down helicopters.
Yeah, geez, Mimi, I love you so much, but please. And giving everyone food poisoning on a cooking show, apparently.
Wait, does she?
I read you the CD drama when she's...
No, she does a cooking show, but does she give people food poisoning?
No, she just puts weird things together. She's like, it's her mum's style of cooking.
Yeah, but her mum never gives anyone food poisoning.
Maybe she's just fantastic. I don't know. But anyway, back to the series of Digimon that we're actually currently watching and enjoying. Juri, after hearing Cubimon say that Ruki's the strongest, Juri says sorry for not being strong, and Leomon says that this was their fate. Remember that. He says this is their fate. This is a very important part of this episode about the concept of fate.
In the English, he says she has the heart of a lion.
Which is
because
the title.
That's what the episode
Yeah.
the episode of the title is.
The episode of the title. And Leomon says that since it was fate, he was born as a Digimon to just be her partner.
Oh, I forgot there's a really funny line in the English when the Shukiamon, whatever, is talking to Kulamon and saying that he's not really a Digimon.
Yeah.
And Kulamon goes, there's no way I'm giving you my insides.
Yeah, no, that was funny, yeah. Well, yeah, to cut back to Takado's group, Takado suggests going with Terriermon to look for the others so Jen can stay with Susie. Then Beelzemon shows up and is upset that there's only 3 of them. And then Beelzemon says that he's going to do this because of the deal, and he doesn't really have to anymore. He feels like he doesn't need to.
It's actually different
going to do it anyway.
between the episodes, between the versions. In the Japanese, he's annoyed that he didn't get the whole group together.
Yep.
In the English, he is happy that he caught them out.
Yeah, which is a really weird difference.
Yeah, in one of them, one's kind of a badass thing, like, I wanted more of you, I could fight more. And the other one is sort of cowardly, opportunistic.
He's saying, oh, it's easier now because you're not all going to fight me. I only have to deal with one Digimon, basically, at this point.
Yep.
And if I kill the child that's linked to another one, that'll make it easier. So, yeah, it's a cowardice thing. But, yeah, in the original, he's just like, he wants to wipe them out all in one go. So there's a really funny line, and I think it was funny when I heard it because I misheard it.
Why are you doing this? What did we ever do to you?
It's nothing personal, it's just business, and I'm a businessman.
But
Businessmon?
I thought he said businessmon, and I was like, that's the best line in the show. He's a businessmon.
He's not a businessman.
I'm so upset that that's not actually what the line was.
Because there's a weird accent in English as well. It's like a little, slightly Western on top of the M1 line.
It's like a New Yorkie one, isn't it?
I don't know. It's like, I'm Beelzemon.
Oh, Boston. It's Boston.
No, it's the Harvard
Boston.
capital. No, it's not Beelzemon.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
He sounds
I
Boston.
don't think so. He's not from Harvard.
I love him, even though he's evil.
He's not going for the Red Sox. He's a
business. Well, I'm a businessman. I can't do accents. Don't get me to do accents.
I feel like it's Imon, but like with a touch of like cowboy, like
Really?
Westerny to it. Maybe that was my impression anyway.
So Terriermon evolves to Rapidmon, and I'm pretty sure this is the first evolution we've had in a couple of episodes.
It's been a little bit.
Because all the the last one was when Cubimon was reunited.
Also,
for
Matrix
memory.
Evolution you'd think would need Kulamon around, but doesn't.
Who cares? Plot, right?
I care.
No, we see he shines. Like, because when we've previously had Evolution, he shined from being in another, like, place, and in this episode, when Gilmon Dark evolves, he shines. So I think he can still
doesn't
shine.
shine before that.
I think it's just implied shining.
It always shows you.
He's got the shining.
The shinin.
The shinning.
You got the shinin, lad.
Takata starts freaking out about Gilmon not being there, and he cries out for him, and Grammon hears him because plot. But it makes sense.
No, it doesn't make sense.
No, I'm going to explain why it makes sense. Okay, so I was freaking out about how the data stream of plot convenience shows up, and they all just go in and they say, yeah. And by the way, Leomon says that this is their fate. This is their fate to go in the data stream.
Okay, let's pretend.
Okay.
That he knew that they would. Let's pretend that fate, being the plot, was always intended for a data stream to go pick them up.
That's not my point.
Let me finish. It's very brief, and then you can tell me why I'm wrong. Okay. If Takato is screaming, right, and there are no data streams around them, because data streams are only in one place and deposit you into empty air, they're not portals, right? They're not open on one side, open on the other. They make you disappear from where you are, and then they dump you in another place. Mm-hmm. Okay. There's nowhere from where his sound can travel to them.
Yes, but then we also see that Katuramon is there.
Who?
The dog Dava. He's in the data stream with them, and that's why they showed up, because the Dava can kind of control the data streams.
Okay, but the issue I'm talking about is how he heard Takato.
Because the gods willed it to be so.
Why would they will it to be so?
The gods wrote the script.
Okay. What?
Because it is so.
No, you can't bring in Christian fanaticism into Digimon.
I can try.
No, you can't.
When Katsuramon appears, he says that the rage of the gods will...
Should be Dogsuramon.
Dogsuramon. Yeah, I know. there's no zodiac of the cat, and he said, yeah. So he says the rage of the gods will be appeased soon, and all that oppose the gods are gathering together. So yeah, I guess plot convenience. He did the thing.
I'm trying to figure out where we are exactly. I think it's around this part.
Yep.
Because Ruki, I think just before the data stream hits them, talks about
Yeah.
how she's schlepping, which is a bit more.
What? What's slapping?
Schlepping is a Yiddish word for like walking and carrying stuff.
Oh.
It's a bit more Yiddish than I'd expect her to know. But let's see. Rapidmon loses the fight real bad.
Mm-hmm.
Which
makes sense.
Whereas a bit where Beelzemon shoots, and in the English, he cuts straight to the impact, and then he falls over. And in the Japanese, there's like half a second of like seeing something hit him first that they cut out. It's so tiny, and there's no actual bullets involved.
They always cut out impact.
But it's so small. It's weird. What's important though is, Tamers loses, Susie cries, and then Beelzemon says, "Compared to me, you're like amateur hour," says the Digimon who's been evolved for like an hour.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying.
Saying Beelzemon's an asshole.
Takato then says that Beelzemon used to be Itmon, and then says to him that they went camping together and then they played in the park. And he's like, Takato's such a sweetie, and he's trying to say, look, we don't have to fight, we had so much fun together, which kind of they didn't, like the whole time Itmon was kind of say, I still want to beat you up, but okay. Like he
was turning.
Yeah. So, just while on the topic, is this like a surprise that he's evil, like from what Itmon used to be, which is like kind of harmless?
Well, he was always the kind of harmless that, like, if he could do harm, he would have. He tried to kill Jen's dad.
Yes.
If his fireballs could have gotten through the suitcase, because they're weak, like, because they're stupid, but, like, if they could have done it, then Jen's dad would be dead. Also, I did a very brief little research, hopefully, like, trying to avoid spoilers, and I managed.
Well done.
But I did find out that Beelzemon is Mega level? Or whatever.
He is.
He went from a rookie to Mega.
Warp of evolution. Gilmon literally does this the next episode.
Yeah, but that's with the kid's Digivice around.
Yeah, but he uses the power of the gods. Look, the gods' power, it's not going to turn you into an adult level Digimon.
Are
Adult's
all
not
the
scary.
other Devas that level?
All the other Devas are perfect. He's stronger than a Deva.
Yeah, that's weird. You would think that the dog Deva, having just turned this rookie evolved, goes, oh, you're a level higher than me, that's weird. And not treating him like crap, since he's, like, not nearly that strong.
I think the Devas have a very holier-than-thou sort of thing. Like, they're better than everyone. Yes, that would
make sense, what with them being religious fanatics.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, so this gets really weird now, knowing that he's the highest level possible, something that no one else has reached.
Digimon and Barbamon.
I said no one has reached, they were already there, and also their grandparents of nobody.
So when they finally get reunited, Ruki's really mad. I'm not really sure why. It's not really their fault. They kind of got data streamed, but I guess Ruki's allowed to be mad.
Well, she keeps getting data streamed.
Yeah, because of Kazu and Kenta. Takato is happy to see Grammon, but then he's sad because Grammon evolved. No,
because he's just dead.
Yeah, he's sad because he realizes that he's data and he remembers it. In the dub, he's just sad because he's worried about losing Grammon.
Actually, sorry, I have a few thoughts about this. It's A, he's just data, i.e., like all Digimon. You just don't think about it.
Yeah.
And he can just be erased, like all life. All life can end.
Yeah.
It's just a different method. So the lesson I'm getting from this is don't care about anything or anyone ever. That's the concern he's picked up. You don't get him looking at Jen and being like, he's just flesh, he can die.
Yeah.
So Cubimon starts kind of fighting Beelzemon and ends up actually knocking off like the bike and the guns.
But just before she starts fighting, she addresses Beelzemon at she says, like a friend. And I really like their relationship. Like they clearly clicked at that point where Renamon was talking to him about him maybe having partners, and Itmon starts freaking out about wanting to evolve. And I feel like they clicked at that point, so Cubimon sees him as a friend.
I felt like that was when she was about to lose the fight.
Oh, no, she does it twice.
Okay.
Ruki tells Cubimon to evolve, and Cubimon doesn't. In the dub, she says that she's trying to, but she's not.
I'm trying really hard, person who has the ability to make sure I do or do not evolve.
So yeah, then she attacks Beelzemon, and then she collapses, and Beelzemon is about to hurt Cubimon. Takato's in a rage. In the dub, Takato seems almost calmer, but he's saying he's not Itmon anymore, and they have to defeat him. But the difference is, Takato in the original is Oh, he's raging right now.
No, I think the difference is that in the English, it is like he's sort of himself most of the time, and then when he gets angry, he snaps straight to angry. But in the Japanese, you see it really build up over the time, where he's frustrated, then he's angry, and then when the rage gets there, you're like, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but this is the start of the heavy rage.
Yeah.
In the dub, the reason it snaps so much at the last bit is because in this part, instead of like the beginning of rage, Takato just seems like he's giving orders. Like he's saying, oh, okay, Gilmon, we've got to defeat him. He's not Impmon anymore. It's more like a speech rather than he's in uncontrollable rage or the beginning of it.
So
yeah, this is when Cubimon calls Beelzemon Impmon, which really upsets him because he doesn't want to be. He says, "Oh, Impmon's dead," and then he's about to kill Cubimon, and she tells him to open his eyes. In the dub, she tells him not to be so blind. Sorry,
we haven't talked about the bit where Growlmon fights him because it's minor and he loses.
Oh
pretty quickly. I think it's before Cubimon starts fighting.
Yeah,
there is a bit that I want to talk about though when Beelzemon calls Gilmon a pineapple head.
Oh, I missed that.
He calls Growlmon a pineapple head.
Oh, I missed that. I'm sorry.
Why is everyone called Pineapple Head?
No. It's always been Gilmon.
Is it?
He's always called Gilmon a pineapple head.
Doesn't Ruki sometimes call him a pineapple head too?
Who?
Ruki called Gilmon.
No. She calls Takato Gogglehead.
Oh, okay. Then I don't know. It seems like a weird thing for Beelzemon to say still. Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to point that out.
So Cubimon's about to get killed, and then Leomon
sort of catches Beelzemon and starts like punching him, and he's clearly hurting him, which is weird because isn't Leomon an adult?
Yes, but and they said this earlier this episode that he is a lot stronger than the other adults.
Doesn't matter.
Mainly
he's
because
2 levels below this guy.
Yeah, but he's absorbed so much data and he's fought so much.
So is Cubimon.
And that's why he was able to get to the real world, presumably, because he kicked so much butt.
No, I'm pretty sure that was the rainbow.
Okay. The LGBT Leomon. I'm fine with having Leomon represent us.
Well, it's unfortunate because he dared.
Actually, no, I'm not fine with that.
He dared.
Why do they always have to kill the LGBT characters?
No, they always kill Leomon.
And the LGBT characters.
I wouldn't know. Haven't seen that happen yet.
Well, not in Digimon, but in other media.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
How do you find a lesbian in a crowd? Fire a bullet up into the air and see who it is.
Oh, that's really sad.
They're always the ones who die in pieces of media.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I guess.
Exactly.
Oh, still better.
That's really sad. I remember being really sad about it.
Because it was really sad.
It was. So
not like Wizardmon.
Yeah, So Leomon totally dies, and it's like, I know it's meant to be sad, but to me, this is still like only one step removed. Well, it's maybe 1 or 2 steps removed from Wizardmon.
Yeah, I know. I agree with you there because like we didn't know if it was Growlmon or Cubimon or Gargomon.
Oh, I would die.
Yeah,
I would have been upset about those.
Yeah, but because they have more of a character than Leomon. I mean, I like Leomon. It's sad that he died, and it's always sad that Leomon died. But the Leomon from Adventure hits harder because we know him.
Because we knew him.
He started off, as sort of like he was infected by the Dark Gear and was like hunting down the children, and then like kind of like semi-evolved.
No, he didn't start off that way. He started off righteous, and then he was infected.
Yeah, and like fighting with Ogremon, and then he dies constantly all the time forever.
He dies in everything.
Yep.
It's a tradition, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
That's alright. It's fine.
Rest in peace, I guess.
I kind of picked it up. So, I do think it would have been much funnier if you got stabbed in the chest, because it's called Lionheart. That'd be great. But
can I just, back up a bit before he gets super murdered?
Oh, okay.
So, when Leomon grabs him, Leomon says, I don't know you, but you're a person who just blindly follows orders, and that killing the children is not your fate. Fate being a theme. It's a theme. Thematic. They should cover this in, VCE English with all these themes.
Move on.
In the dub, Leomon asks him if all this power is worth it, and he says that the real power is not to be strong. It's about, being powerful. You don't have to be strong to be powerful.
What?
Beelzemon tells
Yes, you do.
Yeah, okay. But Leomon dies, so I guess who cares, right?
He must be wrong if he's dead. If you're so smart, how come you're dead?
Beelzemon tells him to shut up and kills him. In the dub, he doesn't tell him to shut up. I'm not sure why I feel like it was really dramatic, but I feel like without the big shut up moment, I feel like it's less dramatic. And yeah, Leomon dies.
The more, like, immature he gets in this new form, the more you can kind of see that evolution hasn't changed him very much.
Yeah, he's still a child.
He's still Imon for real.
Yeah, he's still a child in a more powerful body.
So it's kind of frustrating, because at this stage you can kind of sense that Leomon was introduced to die. That's why Leomon's like the one Digimon that has shown up.
He's Aslan.
Yeah, I know, I made that.
Because it's the trope of, the sacrificial lion. Of, the big strong character dies, and he's an actual lion, though.
No, but what I'm talking about is, like, okay, of all the kids' Digimon, I mean, Gardramon, I guess, was based on, like, but of all the kids that matter...
You wouldn't care if it was Gardramon, no.
No, but of all the kids that mattered, Juri got this weird stock Digimon we've seen in other seasons.
Yeah.
Okay, so he showed up, and maybe the idea is that, okay, you'll care about him because you've seen him in other stuff.
Yeah, no, that's
But it's
fair.
a different universe, so that's not a legitimate strategy.
No,
And then, how connected were they? How much time did you get to see them bonding? How much time did you get to care about Leomon?
She gave him orange juice.
There is one Juri-related episode, and he doesn't feature in it because she's alone. He's kind of brave off to the side, but most of the interaction you see with Leomon is her fawning on him and him being annoyed by it.
Yep.
And so when he dies, I'm like, alright, sure, I guess.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we don't even see that much of Juri, really. We see her more. If she had been the one to die, it would have been much more devastating.
Do you think we'll see more of Juri now?
I don't think she's going to go away. Honestly, like, I think that's obviously colours her character a lot, because she's the first kid we've ever seen lose a Digimon.
Well, for real.
Yeah.
Minami.
Who?
From that movie.
What?
The movie we just watched, Battle of Adventures.
She didn't have a Digivice.
She had Labramon.
She didn't have a Digivice.
Labramon died.
She didn't have a Digivice.
Yeah, she didn't have a Digivice. We didn't
There
see
wasn't
the
a
static
partner.
thing.
That was a Digimon that was around.
It was the doggo.
That was one of her friends, not a partner, you know?
I'm pretty sure she still evolves into the dog Dava.
That would make sense, actually. They look very similar.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just saying, like, this is really low impact. It's not obviously on the scale of Wizardmon, who was just a plot device who walked around until he ran out of time. This one obviously felt like there was more to it than that, but it was still really not as well done as it could have been. And it's weird because if you just took out Kenta and Kazu and gave Juri more time, you could have had a really compelling story about her sort of trying to catch up with everything and trying to bond with this Digimon, and then actually making progress because the Digimon's, have him be like a teacher and have it put it sort of forward that there's like a long future that is getting cut short by this moment, rather than, okay, we met like a week ago and now you're gone. Oh, I lost so much. I lost my lifelong friend of a week. It's almost like finding $100 and then dropping it. And like, oh, I guess.
But as Leomon dies, Leomon asks Beelzemon why he doesn't understand and listen. And then Leomon says to himself, maybe this is fate. Maybe this is my fate. In the dub, Leomon's speaking to Juri and saying, don't worry, Juri, part of me will always be with you. And don't forget that you have a lion's heart. And Juri's face in the original, when after Leomon says that this may be his fate, Juri's face is just heartbroken, because basically when he said, I was born to meet you, and now he's saying, oh, I'm dying and this is also my fate. So in her head, she's calculating this as saying, it's your fault I'm dead, basically.
And if you freeze frame it right there, you can see the exact moment her heart is torn in two.
Yeah, basically. And the viewers as well, because to be honest, that's pretty sad.
No, it wasn't.
Then her Diarch goes static.
That's sad. That's actually much
and
sad.
And Beelzemon absorbs Leomon.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, this is the first time I've ever seen a partner's Digimon die. No, it's not true. Angemon did die, but he became an egg immediately, so he didn't really die.
Yeah, and it was like, but remember, I will come back for you, TK, if you want me to.
But this
Never getting over it.
This one is like straight up like super death.
This is death.
This is irredeemable.
Growlmon is so sad, it's heartbreaking. Like, honestly. Do you see what he says? He's like, but Leomon was so strong and so kind. And but his voice is just heartbreaking, especially in the original. He just sounds so upset, and it's so different from his normal voice. It's kind of heartbreaking. And
then Tagada goes like completely mental.
He's in a blind rage at the moment. And Growlmon is suddenly Megalo Growlmon, which I guess we don't have time for evolution.
Snap to it.
Yeah. Kazu grabs at Juri's arm and tries to get her out of the way to safety, and Juri tells him not to touch her and that she doesn't want to be touched. And Kazu lets go. He's a good guy. He's like, okay, well, I'm not going to upset her. So he let go, and it's just the little things. Beelzemon says that Megalogramon can't defeat him because he's an ultimate level Digimon, and Megalogramon's only a perfect.
So does Megalogramon have Kulemon's symbol on his chest?
No, it's the digital hazard symbol. It's different. Because Gilmon has the digital hazard symbol too.
Is the digital hazard symbol just like a take on the nuclear hazard symbol?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's digital. Completely digital.
Sure it is.
Takado is yelling for Megalogramon to defeat him, and Juri is telling him to stop. Megalogramon gets a hole through his face, and it starts like being like data.
Wub wub.
And what just happened to Leomon. And Takado tells him to evolve. Calumon starts glowing, but it's different. It's like a more violent glow. Megalogramon's chest starts glowing, and then Hypno starts to notice all the data that's emerging in the digital world.
And they keep getting the digital hazard symbol on their screens as well.
Yep.
This isn't an internationally recognized symbol, I don't think. How did it end up on their screen?
It is for the Hypnos.
What?
Well, Yamaki says, oh, it's the digital hazard symbol.
Yeah, I know he recognizes it, but the question is, like, why... Okay, so this is either an internationally recognized symbol in this universe, which makes no sense. What's a digital hazard before Digimon were discovered? And if so, how did Takado know to draw it?
The thing is, Takado did not draw it. In any of his drawings, he did not draw it. In his original Gilmon, I believe the digital hazard symbol on his hands weren't there.
Huh, okay.
So that's the thing. It was fate.
Go away.
In the dub, Yamaki says it's just a system meltdown that's happening. Janyus is feeling helpless back at his place. In the dub, Janyu's blaming himself. Megalogramon evolves to Megidramon. Takado drops his Digivice in shock, and it shatters.
This messed me up. I was like...
Yeah, I posted your chat.
Yeah, I know.
Because, like... Everyone was so happy, by the way, for that chat. They were just like, "Yay!"
I'm like, you're like, welcome to Tamers, and I'm like, we're more than halfway through this series. You can't say that now.
Yeah, real Tamers soul starts now. All right, so yeah, as I said, we're going to be covering both these episodes as one big episode because it just works thematically, and discussing them works better as one episode. I think.
A little bit.
Yeah, I think. But
I
that's
really like that word today.
I think.
Thematically,
thematically is a good word. Thematically. So, Megudramon is big and scary, newsflash, BT dubs.
We see Jen's mom is worried about Susie, and Jen's dad has obviously told her that she's in Hong Kong.
Visiting the grandparents,
and she's like, she's not really in Hong Kong, is she? And he's like, I need to go. My home planet needs me.
And yeah, so Susie's mum demands to know where Janyu is keeping from her, and he just sort of leaves.
And she collapses, and it's pretty sad.
Remember that time that Janyu said that his wife was out of his control?
What?
Well, in the Susie and Antilamon episode, where Janyu says, "Oh, Susie is just out of my control, just like her mother."
I don't remember that at all.
I remember being upset by it.
Aww. Oh, it'll be okay. Probably.
Rapidmon is looking at Megudramon, and he mentions how he always knew Gilmon was a virus type, but never expected something like this. And I'm honestly surprised they kept this line in the English version. I can't believe they brought it up. Because it's like, but you don't mention that. And that's the thing. Each of the three main partners is one of each data type.
This is why they shouldn't have introduced other characters.
Yeah, it was perfect. Juri is still crying and wants everybody to stop. In the dub, she's crying over how horrible Megidramon looks. Megidramon. The ground starts breaking apart. Yep.
Megidramon.
Megurdramon's hazard sign is flashing, and Jen thinks about how it must be affecting the digital world. Shuchon is being separated, and Jen jumps over a very large gap to be with her, so kudos to that guy.
It's not bad. Actually, it wasn't that huge. Not yet. It was just separating at the time.
Then Rapidmon picks them up, and Jen asks if Rapidmon's okay, and Rapidmon says he'll never give up, and, he's ganbatte.
So Megidramon is trying to eat Beelzemon,
basically.
And he's got acid drool.
Yeah. No, he's pretty gross. Janyu is with Yamaki, and Yamaki says that some huge power is affecting the entire digital world. Yamaki doesn't know if the children are affected, but thinks that it might be because of their mission. In the dub, Janyu asks Yamaki if he's heard from the children, and Yamaki says that they must be the center of this. Which is like, that's a worrying thing to say, buddy.
My favorite part of this, though, is it's like, but they'll be okay, they kicked my ass enough times.
Yeah.
He just fully admits that, like, he got wrecked by these kids constantly.
And in the original, instead of saying that how resourceful the kids are and how they kept on putting him in his place, Yamaki is mentioning how he believes in them and they have done what adults could never do. Then we see Ryo and Cyberdramon and they're wondering what's happening.
Is that only in the Japanese?
No, it's in both. Because I remember in the dub, he says that he hopes the others are alright instead of just wondering what's happening.
I only noticed it in the Japanese.
No, he's there. He's there, unfortunately.
I never thought I'd see him again. It's so weird that he's there. You have to assume that if Cyberdramon was there, this wouldn't be a problem.
I think Cyberdramon and Beelzemon would fight until one of them dies, to be honest.
Yeah, I know. Beelzemon would die, like,
That would be
instantly.
helpful. That's why they got rid of him.
He's too strong.
Takada was telling Gilmon to stop. Beelzemon wonders if Megudramon was born just to eat him, and says that he won't give up. Makuramon appears, and then says that
he's in a monkey ball.
Yeah.
Super monkey ball.
And that he says that if it continues, everything will be destroyed, and then he calls Katoramon foolish for giving him the power to evolve. In the dub, Makuramon calls Beelzemon pathetic. Beelzemon makes a face, which I can only describe as a face that I make whenever I've done programming correctly. And he grabs Makuramon and kills him and absorbs his data.
Okay, it's quite... You don't emphasize quite how weird and dark this murder is.
Yeah.
He puts his hand on the monkey's head, the monkey sasses him, and then he crushes the monkey's head with one hand. And this is, like, I'm watching this in the English first, and I'm like, I cannot believe that stuck around.
No, it's pretty violent.
It's brutal, actually. And then we see something that's new, that I'd never seen before, even though we've had this whole loading data thing with the entire show.
What's it?
Turns out if you load people's data, you steal their moves.
To be honest, I think no one's tried it before.
No, they would have tried it, because they use other dudes' moves with the card slashes.
Cubimon runs after Beelzemon and realizes that he's a demon now. In the dub, Cubimon doesn't say anything about him becoming a demon, but she does say that she realizes that they have to stop him now, and it's like past the point of, maybe we can convince him not to kill us because he's still Itmon. It's just like, no, he's past this point. Cubimon evolves. Then, Beelzemon can use Makuramon's power now. Jen suggests that Ruki and him use the alias card to duplicate the Digimon to help them escape.
That is weirdly dark. I can't believe they never even think about the implications of what they've just done. The alias card, I did a very brief bit of research, what I could find about the Digimon card game. It makes a clone, basically.
Yeah.
So, they didn't actually save their Digimon. They made backup copies of them.
But he killed the backup copies, didn't he?
No.
Oh!
The backup copies are the ones they have. They made clones of the base version.
Oh, that's heartbreaking. So, Terriermon and Renamon died.
The Talmon and Rapidmon died in the bubbles.
Oh, I just thought that they killed the clone.
No, the clones were what popped out the bottom.
Oh, that's really dark.
Yeah, I know. The show does not hover on that at all. They don't think about it or talk about it ever.
Well, to be fair,
and in
the original doesn't actually explain what's happened. The dub has to sort of fill in the blanks and have Terriermon and Renamon mention about how he stole their power.
Yeah, they say something along the lines of, like, he stole our ultimate power, but you can see Talmon and Rapidmon getting dissolved. They died.
And honestly, I don't think that they should be able to reach perfect again.
They will.
I'm not telling you now that they do.
Yeah,
because, I'm not going to be able to convince you
They'll
otherwise.
reach Omega too, sure, why not?
Well, none of the other characters ever got to, in other seasons.
Oh, yeah.
Every other character's been stopped at perfect.
Try.
Yeah, except for Try,
It's okay, there's less characters now. I think the reason you'd stop that is like, okay, you can't have 8 characters going to every level.
In 02 it would have made sense because technically there are half as many evolutions to be had.
But it didn't happen.
They only have to have 3 megas.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
Yeah, but they had to have all these fusions and stuff too.
But they gave Daisuke and Ken 3 megas.
Yay!
Yay! When they could have,
That's exactly what... Also, they got to steal the Jogress of someone else.
Yeah, to make one of those.
This is the worst! I hate him so much! Oh my god, Daisuke's the worst!
Miyako's okay. Iori's fine, I guess.
It's like all of the Adventure Kids did all this hard work to make something cool, like...
Davis should have had a dark evolution.
Oh, 100%. But, like, to make something really cool...
I think Yamato should have had a dark evolution in Season 1. And I know I said that when we...
Yes, you should
back
have,
in
that's
Season
true.
1, but when he's running off into distance and, like, is saying, I'm going to go kill Tai, basically. And Metal Garurumon's like, yeah, like he evolves to Metal Garurumon. He should be like the Black War,
To
Black
be fair,
Metal Garurumon.
he didn't say yeah. He was more like whatever you say.
Yeah, which should have anyway, everyone should get
totally agree.
I adore the concept of dark evolution
Yeah, it's great.
as like a corrupted evolution, like a wrong evolution. Because just like, it's emotional, it's nice. I really like that as a concept. I'm a sucker for those dark evolutions or, evolutions gone wrong. And yeah. Anyway, where were we? On Tamers, which is a good season. And as
Is it? It is.
Zero 2 was okay.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
As a Digimon fan,
No redeeming
Zero
factors.
2 was okay.
If in Try
No,
all of them
okay.
are dead except for Ken, I'd be happy.
Look, I think we can all agree that the best part of Zero 2 was when Hikari and Taichi had like that conversation in the shadows about how it's time to kill Digimon.
You're right. All of the adventure kids were the best part of
Yeah.
of Zero 2.
And Mimi being like Supergirl, I love her so much. Anyway, so Beelzemon absorbs the duplicates, but apparently he doesn't. He actually absorbs the real ones, which is super dark. I just thought it was the duplicates. And he starts forming their body parts, sort of, and it's kind of horrifying.
Turns into this weird new season Chimeramon.
Like, this is pretty horrifying, right?
Yes, it is.
He starts hitting Megurgimon, and Juri's still screaming for them to stop. Beelzemon bursts Megurgimon's chest.
He gets totally wrecked. What a punk.
Takata looks over to see if Juri's okay, and then she backs away and says that she wants
breakdown.
him to stop. Takata walks towards her, and she tells him to stop and, stay back. And to look at Gilmon, who used to be so kind and nice. In the dub, Jerry straight up blames Takata for what is happening to Gilmon.
Yeah, she's like, you did this to him.
The Wild Bunch are building an ark. Yamaki tells them to use the Hypnos mainframe, and Janyu says that the kids might be saving the world without realizing it.
Yamaki finally admits he doesn't know what he was doing and he made tons of mistakes.
Yeah, which is good. It's fine. I like Yamaki.
Move over, amateurs.
Yeah.
Yamaki's home.
In the dub, Janyu asks Yamaki to help because Yamaki is feeling down about what he's done, and Yamaki says it's time to create something worthwhile.
Hey, I just noticed something.
Yep, what?
I just realized. Have you noticed that Yamaki hasn't played with his Zippo for like 20 episodes?
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
That's a defining characteristic of him, that once you get to see his face, he totally stops doing.
I feel like that was always like the evil, background in the shadows, playing with his lighter sort of thing, and now I guess he quit because he's good now?
They barely hid his face, though. He was still in the shady organization before revealing himself, and they're like, oh, that's him, by the way. Takado approaches, like, this pretty much dead Megidramon, and he's, trying to talk to him, and he sort of has his memories of how he met Gilmon.
Yep.
And I don't know if you thought this too, but he has a super fake memory of how he first reacted when he saw Gilmon.
In the dub, when he says, oh, cool, instead of, oh no, he's gonna kill me.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, cool, I got a Digimon, but he really thought he was going to die.
Yeah. Takado's thinking about how he always loved Digimon, and he always thought how it'd be so great to have a real one. And then he says how Digimon were data, so it wasn't magic at all, which is like, ow! In the dub, Takado...
It's still pretty much magic.
Yeah. In the dub, Takado says that he thought since he created Gilmon, he could also control him since Gilmon was a part of himself. But then he says that he never thought of what would happen if he couldn't control himself.
Oh.
So it's just... It just kind of removes the thing of, like, Takado being super upset that Gilmon is just data.
But he has this line, which is great, which is, DNA or data, it doesn't make a difference.
Juri is still by herself, and Kazu is trying to call her over, and we see her Digivice is still static. Beelzemon gets up again and is crying out.
You missed a bit here.
What I miss?
When Kazu sees that she's crying, he has this really funny, especially in English, the delivery. He goes, well, I'll just have to rescue her.
Yeah, because
it's really blunt.
Yeah, because she's going to die. Even though she wants to be alone at the moment, she's going to die, basically.
And so he, backs up to, do a big running jump, but it's so funny. He's like, well, time to be a hero.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal at all. It's not his character. He's never like this.
I like him.
All right, cool. Time to be a warlock. All right.
Yeah. And then Beelzemon gets up again and is crying out about how he won and how he became the strongest Digimon because he added Tailmon and Rapidmon's data. Susie tells Lotmon to evolve, and Lotmon says she's not allowed to. Then Susie starts to cry.
I believe in one version it's I can't, and in the original it's I'm not allowed.
I believe in the original it's not allowed.
Yeah, but in the English it's just I can't.
Yeah. Then, Susie starts to cry. Then Ruki comes along and tries to cheer up and says it's okay because they're all together.
But she does a really bad job. She does not calm her down.
It's also because in the dub they're trying to put far too many words and it seems more stressful because Ruki's just saying, oh, don't worry, Renamon won't let anything to happen to you and, everyone else is here too. And then Ruki says, I'm not doing a very good job at this. Beelzemon then says he doesn't have anything to do with the gods anymore, but a deal's a deal, and he says that he hasn't become a god, but a demon. I'm like, whoa, watch out, we got a badass over here.
Oh my god, what an edgelord. Lording all those edges.
Ruki notices that Takato is with Megidramon and Juri is still close, and she tells them to run. In Takato's, Evangelion-esque dream world, Takato realizes that even if Gilmon is data, he's the Digimon he created and his friend. In the dub, Takato says that his desire to defeat Beelzemon messed Gilmon up. Takato hugs Megidramon and he wakes up. Beelzemon aims his gun and is about to shoot everybody, and...
He's going to go shoot them first.
He's going to shoot Takato, and then...
he sees Takato and goes, oh, I'm going to kill this one.
Yeah, and everybody is yelling out for Takato to run, and it kind of goes in this weird slow-mo, and Takato calls Gilmon his friend. Megidramon remembers him and says his name. Then, Takato has, the flashback when he's in his room, and he's sort of remembering designing him, and he looks up at this Agumon figure, and he remembers creating Gilmon. Takato realizes that Gilmon is data, but he's in the digital world and all the time that he spent with him was real. In the dub, Takato says how even if they're data, that doesn't mean they're not real.
He also says, what if I'd done things differently? What if I designed him differently or some such?
Yeah.
Then he's surrounded by really bad CGI Gilmon.
Yeah.
And the power of yelling about friendship leads him to the only 2D animated one, which is the real one.
Yeah, it's hard to spot, you see.
Yeah, I mean, it's the one that doesn't have spinning 3 dimensions.
Yeah. Gilmon uses Megudramon's tail to hit away the bullets, which is kind of cool, really.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure he de-evolved first.
No, he de-evolved, and then when Takato thanks him for it, Gilmon, in the dub, asks if it's time for lunch, and then also calls him Takatomon. It's cute. And yeah, so when the bullets come up, there's a transparent image of Megudramon's tail, and it whips away the bullets.
Because I watched that twice, and I was like, I assume the power of friendship protected them.
No, it's his
Much
tail.
like Harry
it looks
Potter.
really cool.
So, I just noticed something
that was the power of
finally.
love.
It was the power of love,
Yeah.
you're right. The love and friendship are the same. So here's a question for you.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed it or anything. Did you notice anything besides we talked about we bitched and moaned about how Beelzemon's bullets are really weird because they're super slow.
Yeah.
And in this particular situation, isn't it convenient that they're so slow so that he could have all this dream sequence before it actually hits him?
Yeah.
But you know something else that's weird about them?
No, what?
How does a bullet fire? Okay, what does a bullet look like? It looks exactly like what shoots out,
Oh, they've got
right?
the casings on, don't they?
Yeah!
I think they're just thicker bullets.
No. Bullets never have, they're never that long.
Yeah.
If the casing comes off, they're always actually very short, because they're just basically small, twisty balls that come out. That can only lead you to the conclusion that the shotguns that Beelzemon has are not guns, they're slingshots.
Yeah.
They just fire out something that looks like a bullet.
I don't know, it looks pretty threatening, though.
They do not fire, they just fling.
They just kind of fly, I guess.
Okay, if someone shot at me and it came at me at 1 kilometer an hour, I would not be threatened by it. I would walk over to it and pluck it out of the air.
Yeah.
Which I'm surprised no one ever does.
Yeah, they're not... Yeah, okay, I see your point there. Yeah, and then Gilmon says he wants to fight with Takato. In the dub, Takato's the one who says that he wants to fight together. Takato then says that he's not sure about how they can fight together, and neither is Gilmon, but they trust each other, and together they'll do it. Then Takato announces...
Press A to do it.
Yeah, and then Takato announces that he won't ever hide behind Gilmon again. In the dub, Takato says that he really wants to fight with Gilmon. Then they evolve together to become
This is
Dukemon.
so stupid.
So, remember in Japan, how we're in the Mandarake, and you saw a box, and you said, what's
I said,
Dukemon?
Dukemon?
And I said, oh, don't worry, it's a Royal Knight.
Yes, I remember that.
I wasn't lying, it is a Royal Knight.
Yes, I can tell, because it's got a bad design. All the Royal Knights, except for, Omnimon, feel, overworked to me.
Yeah.
They don't... They feel like, okay, we have a theme, let's make something stupid out of it. I don't know. Omnimon was special, and then everything else is just sort of a rip-off of that.
Well...
And then it makes him less special, especially when an Omnimon has to start interacting with other people
Yeah.
that are on the same level. It's really lame.
I love Omnimon. So, in the dub, it's Galantmon.
It's called Biomerge.
Yeah, it's also called Biomerge Digivolution.
It's a Jogress.
That had pretty cool music, too.
Actually, yeah, Dukemon's thing in Japanese with the really good music.
Yeah, that's called One Vision. Remember one of the first shots we got about Try, and it had, the book on Taichi's desk, and it said One Vision on it?
No, I didn't.
That's the song that's playing.
Okay, but we have this problem where Dukemon's still got Gilmon's voice. It sounds really bad.
In the dub, it's the same thing as the Jogress evolutions when they have them speaking in unison.
But they were never this bad. Okay, Dukemon's huge and imposing, but sounds like a puppy who's lost. I'm going to fight you.
Yeah, but that's just...
I'm so strong.
Yeah, but that's just evolution, I
Growlmon
guess.
sounds more intimidating than this.
Okay, good point. Growlmon looks more intimidating.
This should
Digimon
have
looks like a person.
Mega Growlmon's voice, because that's the next step up. But no, it's the baby one. I've got the wants.
I think it's because...
Because it's directly up.
Yeah, it's because it's directly up,
But it shouldn't
sort of.
be. It really shouldn't
Well,
be.
what voice do you prefer? It being in unison with Ducato's, or...?
Look, I think the unison voices is an interesting theme, but I think it needed to not be Gilmon's. It needed to be Megalogramon's.
Right, which is still Gilmon, but with a
No, but
different voice.
it's much deeper. If it's like this, it's still better than it being like this.
Dukemon says that Beelzemon has made a deal with the devil, and then he became one, and he'll never forgive him for that. In the dub, Galantmon mentions how they offered him friendship, but he turned it down. And yeah, they charged each other, and that's the end of the episode, I guess. What do you think of this episode? Well, both of these episodes, as someone who's new to Digimon.
So, the first one, my initial reaction to it was that's probably the best one we've seen so far in the season.
Yeah.
Watching it a second time, there was a slog, actually. I think the impact of the first one was in surprise.
Yep.
And a lot of stuff happens. Because there's so many episodes of Digimon, they're usually very, very satisfied for exactly one thing to happen in any given episode.
Yep.
So when two things happened, like, that kind of broke the rules, you have a bit of a freak out.
No, I see what you're saying. There's usually one big thing, and then this one has like a double whammy of things.
And so that was a big deal, and there was a lot of surprise to it. But I realized, actually, only the last 5 minutes of that episode are actually really good.
Yep.
So in my notes, I was like, yeah, 9.5. It's not perfect, but it's great. It made me feel things. And then, okay, no, it's a strong 8. That's actually what it is.
Well, I go with both episodes 7.
No, that's really low.
Well, what I mean, I guess because I saw it coming and I knew it was going to happen, so I didn't have a big impact.
You have this problem where you're sitting there waiting for the big thing to happen.
Yeah, and then when it happens, I'm like, okay, it happened.
Well, there it is, yeah.
Yeah, which is really good that we have like both our views, because it has the view of this person who's watched it hundreds of times before us and knows what's happening. I mean, I like the episode.
To be fair though, I should downgrade it because the title tells you that, so actually it gives you the perspective that you have.
Well, it doesn't give the Dark Evolution away. Neither title say. I could have given you both these titles.
Yeah, but the Dark Evolution is actually really like super not impactful because
It
as
doesn't
with
hurt
most
Beelzemon.
Dark Evolutions, as with most of them, it's actually largely ineffective.
Yeah, well, Skull Greymon almost killed them and just kind of rampages until he gets tired.
It almost killed the kids, but never. I don't think it beat anybody.
No, he didn't beat Edamon. Edamon ran away because Edamon's sensible.
Yeah, fair enough.
And yeah, so I guess we can just skip to the rating. Like, what did you give both the episodes together? Because I guess
I'm going to give it an 8. Like,
yeah, okay,
together.
I agree. Like 8 is reasonable.
Because it's the amount of progress. Look, if this had all happened, if the show was only 30 episodes long, this would have been really. This wouldn't have stood out as much because obviously more of the progress would have stacked together. But because it's so long and you have filler episodes and stuff, so much stuff happened.
Yeah.
And I like stuff that I like. There's two different versions of like change you can make to a series like this, and there's what they did in O2, which is don't actually change anything, just stack lots and lots and lots of new stuff on, and just pile it all up there, and then we'll forget about it later because we don't need it anymore, i.e. arm revolutions, jogresses, and all of that. This one says, you know all that stuff we do already? What if we break some of those rules? And then I'm like, yeah, let's do that.
Which was the better part? Like the first episode, the second episode.
The literally best part of all of these episodes is when the Digivice shattered.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
That's the best part of everything because that was okay. So a Digimon died. That's happened before, except that obviously Angemon sacrificed himself. So it was like, okay, once this is done, there'll be no threat anymore.
Yep.
So the fact that a Digimon got killed sort of in a callous way, that was unique unto itself. But that's happened before. Sort of seeing what happens when a Digivice goes weird, that was interesting because we should have seen that with TK, but we didn't because the egg was still there. But again, it's still related. A Dark Evolution we've seen before. All of this, even Jogresses we've seen before. We understand the basic idea.
Not with a person.
No, we're not with a person. But the basic idea of a Jogress, we understand. We've never, ever seen a Digivice even get damaged.
No.
I think that's easily the most interesting part of the whole thing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That was the part that made me stare at it, like wide-eyed, like I can't believe
what do you think's going to happen? Is he going to get another Digivice?
Oh,
Is it
for
gonna,
sure.
do you think it'll be the same colour?
I think it'll be the same color with a different design.
So same shape or different shape?
It'll be generally the same shape.
Okay. So you think you're just going to get an upgrade, but it's going to be red still?
Yes.
Okay. What about how you thought about this episode compared to what your predictions in Obnoxious Synopsis?
So, in the Lionheart one, I was pretty sure that Leomon would die. That was true. I had very little information to work with. So the first one, I mean, I had that really basic piece of information. And I thought it would go without furthering the relationship with Juri. Technically true, because it ended it.
Well, it had some things about fate.
Yes, but that was more speaking to the audience than anything. And I said, okay, I was going to give it a 6.45. No, it's way better than that. And give a little bit. I couldn't have told you anything. There was no way I was going to be correct.
Yeah, it's because this title doesn't say
also,
anything.
that title doesn't seem to apply to the episode.
I think it's about, like, in a relationship when you give a little bit.
I get that. That has there's no reference to the episode whatsoever.
Well, it's a relationship between Takado and Gilmon.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
What?
I don't know. Stuff.
It's not even nearly relevant.
But yeah, I decided not to give you either the titles.
Well, that's fair. I needed to not know.
But
both named Digimon in them.
I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be continue to give you titles. I don't think there's any more that have this many spoilers in the episode that I'm like the titles.
Oh, we'll find out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that all the other episode titles are pretty tame compared to these two, which are basically like the plot of the episode on the title. What was the main difference that you noticed when you watched both these episodes?
Again, it's much, much harder for me to tell when it's the opposite way around.
Well, I know mine. It's definitely the emphasis on fate, which is removed in the dub.
I didn't even notice that.
No, it's the main thing.
Oh
for me.
no, it's the titles. That's it. That's it. I can't put it beyond the titles. The fact that the Japanese titles do not care about telling you exactly what happens in the episode, even though they are huge plot twists that, if you know about them, actually provably make the episodes worse.
Like, Leomon's death is meant to be surprising.
Yeah, of course it is. I mean, it shouldn't have been, because Leomon always dies.
Well, I mean, you've seen it happen. It may not happen again.
This is the third time I've seen him die.
It may not happen again. He doesn't die in 02.
Because he's dead he's dead and recovering during 02.
Oh, good point.
That's what he's doing during that timeline. That's how he can come back later.
The death of a partner. Do you think this is going to be a permanent thing? Like, do you think Leomon's going to come back?
Leomon's dead forever. There's not enough episodes for him to come back.
What are your thoughts overall on Leomon's death? Is this a positive thing? Is this, fine?
I talked about it in detail already, but I think in general, the death is good. Like, it's for the show. I think it's very interesting. I think it tells you a lot about what you should be able to expect, but I think it wasn't set up very well. I think what the writers have thought is, well, if he's just going to die, we're not going to bother putting a lot of effort into him, which is the opposite of how they should have thought.
Yep.
They should have thought, he's going to die, we have to make people care. But, I mean, if you think about the way that shows are serialized, and, like, if random episodes are playing, and someone dies, if they're introduced halfway through the season, and then they're killed 3/4 of the way through the season, then you're not going to see them very often. They're not going to sell that many toys, so why would you spend a lot of time with them? Haha. But, I mean, that's a very vague theory. But I think they really should have spent a lot more time establishing the relationship with Juri and make it clear why she's actually sad that he's dead, rather than she thought he was really hot.
Yeah. Do you think we'll get growth from Juri now, or do you think she might become a side character? What do you think's going to happen with Juri?
Look, I don't think she was never going to be a main character, and she's definitely not going to be now. But I think obviously her character will grow in the sense that will change. I mean, she's probably going to be fairly depressed going forward, I would think, and then angry. Like, we probably just end up seeing the 5 stages of grief, honestly, coming out of her.
What are your thoughts about this death comparing to other character deaths like Wizardmon, Pumpmon and Gotsumon, Angemon, and Labramon?
Okay, so compared to Wizardmon, it was still better done than that, because at least there was something. Wizardmon was blank. He was a walking script page that got burned up, and everyone's like, "Oh no, we can't read the script page anymore." Pumpmon and Gotsumon, I didn't care about nearly as much as you do because they're
Shibuya type Digimon.
Because they're framed in this space where Vampmon decided not to win, and so I didn't find their death sad. I found it confusing. And Angemon's death was a self-sacrifice to beat the big bad guy. And he wasn't really dead.
Yeah.
He's still around.
Yeah.
So, like, it doesn't have nearly as much impact. And it wasn't even like they pretended he was dead. He fizzled up, and then there's an egg there, and he'll be back. Don't worry about it.
I feel like this is definitely the most impactful death that we've
also,
seen
so
far.
Also, who the hell's Labramon? Like, I don't care.
It was a doggo.
Yeah, he was a computer program. It wasn't even really a Digimon.
Shut up. It was a doggo. It was really sad when I first watched it when I was young, because Doggo. But yeah, so this is definitely the most impactful death that we've seen, in my opinion, so far in Digimon. Mm-hmm. I feel like I wish that they kind of gave him more of a character rather than just, the big lion who's just kind of there.
Absolutely.
I wanted him to, have more episodes with Juri about, like, their relationship, and I wanted them to bond more. I wanted them to bond with the characters more. I feel like if we met Juri and Leomon earlier in the show, like, maybe episode 10. So then, like, she's the same, like, she's got an adult level Digimon when everyone else is adult level Digimon, just, like, maybe a bit before the Davas, maybe around the camping episode, maybe. I feel like it would have hurt more as the death of a character, but I feel like it's fine. Like, it's not a terrible thing as death goes. Like, I feel like they didn't want to upset too many children by killing off a main character.
Okay, they did plenty of stuff to upset children. Just go all the way with it.
Oh, like Makuramon's face being killed, I guess. That was a thing that happened. What are your thoughts on Dark Evolution?
So, I think my only problem with the Dark Evolution in this one, because I think I like Dark Evolutions in general, they're quite good.
I love them.
The only problem with, specifically Megidramon, is that it looks like something that Megalogramon would actually turn into, naturally. The thing with Skull Greymon is that, okay, it's Greymon if you took all the flesh off it. Like, something is drastically wrong with it. Whereas Megidramon, if it didn't look angry, would have looked normal. Skull Greymon could never look normal, but Megidramon could, totally.
Yep.
And Megidramon is a totally believable evolution. Much in the same way as, like, when Metal Garurumon evolved and went to go kill Tai.
Yeah.
If he had looked really angry and had, like, a weird growl or something, and then gone, that's a Dark Evolution, you'd be like, well, that's weird.
Yep.
That's how I feel about this. Whereas I think you need to go, like, one step further than an angry-looking Digimon. It should be something that's like you have the feeling in your gut, like, oh god, that's wrong.
Yeah. Though he does kind of look like he's having part of his skin fall off. We do have some skeletons.
But that was injury, not.
No. In Megidramon, when he first evolves to Megidramon, he's got, like, part of his face hanging off.
Oh, I don't
and he's got, like, kind of, like, skeleton jaw happening. He's got, like, kind of, like, skeleton arms and stuff.
Not usually.
No. He's very spoopy. He's very spoopy.
Not usually. He's just a normal dragon guy most of the time.
He's got skeleton parts.
No, he doesn't. Look him up.
He's got skeleton parts.
No, he doesn't.
He's got, like, skeleton face.
He's a big dragony thing.
Megidramon, are we talking about?
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure he's got, like, skeleton parts.
I don't think he does.
Is he just scary in my mind? Yeah, he's got, like, skeleton
What
face.
are you talking? No, he doesn't. No, it's just coloring. That's color.
He's very scary.
That's just a white jaw.
Okay, I thought it was, like, skeleton stuff.
No, he's just got armor and, like, his jaw's white because his chest is white.
He's very spoopy.
No, he's scary,
Okay,
sure,
good point.
but if Megalogramon had turned into that during a fight to beat the bad guy, and it just played card slash, or no, slash to life or whatever,
It is
you'd be
called
like,
slash, yeah.
you'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
He looks scary, though. And the fact that he's got acid drool.
No, he's only scary because he's angry.
Okay, if he was smiling, yeah, you're right. I would
If
love
he
him.
turned around and gave Takao a big thumbs up, I
That'd be the
wouldn't have been
cutest thing.
surprised.
Okay, good point.
This is the problem. If there just needed to be another step. It's beyond. It's just a bit too safe, I guess. I don't know. That's how I feel.
Who did it better? Skull Greymon or
just
Megidramon?
described it to you.
I mean, like, thematically, the episode, I mean.
Oh.
And, like, the trigger of the evolution as well. Not just, like, we've already discussed the design of who did it better, but who did it better, like, plot-wise and also...
I think Megidramon did it better.
Yeah, with the Digivice smashing, oh my gosh.
Well, I mean, not even that part. If we just talk about, like, how it actually happened, Tai was only just kind of like, you should evolve now, and it was just the wrong timing.
It was force feeding as well.
And the force feeding, which was, like, uncomfortable, but this was to kind of be like, I demand you evolve right now!
Yeah.
And it also was framed next to Kulamon, who could make that happen.
And Leomon looked like he was in pain.
Yeah, so there's a lot more stuff going on
Yep.
that I think made it okay.
For screenshot of the week this week, I've already mentioned mine. It's basically Beelzemon's face through this whole episode is terrifying when he, like, sort of, like, tilts his head to the side and smiles. And it's just like, oh my gosh, that's the creepiest face ever. Please stop. And yeah, that's mine.
Mine is just the bullets. I just freeze framed the bullets, and I said that to May, I'm like, this is my screenshot. I'll explain them to you tomorrow.
And I was kind of like, okay, I guess.
They have the casings in them. It's really dumb.
So, the Digimon designs we've already kind of discussed.
We fully discussed it.
And do you have any more
Does
thoughts about
Digimon have a
Digimon?
symbol on his shield?
He has the digital hazard symbol.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, Dukemon's fine. I do think all the Royal Knights devalue Omnimon, but beyond that, it's fine.
But Alphamon's the best Royal Knight.
No, he's not. What makes him that great?
Who's your favourite Royal Knight?
Omnimon!
You're not allowed to choose Omnimon.
Too bad.
Okay, besides Omnimon.
Too bad.
Because I like Magnamon.
Which one's that?
Vmon with the Digi-Egg of Miracles.
I guess it has to be Imperial Dramon Paladin mode then?
See, I think he's a Royal Knight. I know
It should be.
Ultra Force of Vdramon
He can
is.
wield a Royal Knight.
Oh my god, yeah, he is.
It's really dumb.
I also like
What are
Jessamon.
the Royal Knights? I've watched basically I've watched 2 2/3 of seasons of Digimon, plus all of what exists of Tri, and I'm still completely clueless of what the Royal Knights are.
Well, they're in some season, maybe more. In the future, we haven't watched it yet. They're not in Tamers.
Okay, sure. So, I guess the question at that point is, if Dukemon is introduced here and he is a Royal Knight, does that mean that when the Royal Knights are introduced later, they go, who are all the Knight-shaped Digimon we could use? Or, when he showed up, they're like, okay, we're gonna have this guy as a Royal Knight later.
I don't actually know. They've added more since the start of the Royal Knights, because Jessamon is the most recent one. Play Cyber Sleuth. For Postmon Pat this week, first of all, we have a Gmail from Ali, who's concerned about bad parents who put their children on leashes. Now, maybe I didn't explain this super well, but they're not like leashes around the neck. They're like harnesses, and they're actually a pretty good idea when toddlers have a habit of running into oncoming traffic and like under trains and under trams.
Yeah, it's to stop kids from hurting themselves
And hurting
or
others.
getting lost.
Yeah. So, and they're not hurting the child at all, and they're usually quite stretchy, and they're just harnesses around their body.
Yeah, so it goes around like the arms and then like the waist, and it's sort of you can imagine it. It's definitely not around the neck. There's no danger to the child, whatever.
It's definitely
it's
not
just
dangerous.
kind of embarrassing, but they mostly brought it on themselves for almost dying.
Yeah, so it is. I believe it's quite common here. At least it was when I was a child. A lot of kids were in harnesses and on leashes back then because toddlers are crazy, right? They run everywhere. So no, the parents aren't bad. It's because kids are nuts. And when I was very young, when we went out to a restaurant, I would run into the kitchen and just like start stealing pans.
What?
I did that a lot when I was a kid.
When I went to a restaurant, the entire cooking staff came out to watch me eat because it was so energetic, I would say,
What?
and messy.
Oh,
It was
that's
a
weird.
spectacle.
That's weird and sad for you.
I had strong feelings about bolognese. You can't stop
You
me.
still do.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
So yeah, it's yeah. Don't worry, they're not bad parents. They're just bad children, and children are unmanageable, and it doesn't have anything to do with the parents. But what's a parents? But yeah, it's not a lead. It's not like around the neck at all. It's never around the neck because it would hurt the child. It's a harness around the body, and it's usually around the shoulders, and it usually gets like. It's not if you pull, it's not going to make the kid like fall backwards. You got quite a good grip, and it's just like. You know, when kids don't want to be in prams when they're young, instead of being, carted around in a pram so they actually do get exercise, you put them in a harness so they don't die. Our next email is from SP, and they want to remind you that Tamers has the same lead writer as the Call of Daigomon episode
I do remember
in
that.
02. So it's like, all this darkness is from them.
It's pretty late, though.
They also say that they're curious about what Jay thinks of this episode and individual thoughts about Juri and her background, which I don't think we didn't get to
We've
yet.
talked about it.
And Randomon and Itmon, but like their friendship, which
We've
we did
talked
touch
about
on.
it.
And Takato and Gilmon.
We talk about it so often.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm interested to know if this email comes from a position of having listened to all of our stuff about Tamers so far. Because I feel like we've talked about all of those.
No. It's particularly in this episode.
Oh.
Yeah,
I mean,
because these... Not so much Juri and her background, I don't believe we get that yet.
don't touch it at all.
Yeah, but Randomon and Itmon, their friendship is touched on in this episode, and so
Slightly.
is Takato and Gilmon's.
But it's interesting because it's just Imon goes, oh, well, I just, I had feelings about it. He hesitated, but that was the extent of it. Which tells, and then sort of, I guess, I'd be surprised if that ever came back. Because, it's kind of broken. He was obviously going to kill her. And then Takato and Gilmon, I mean, again, they were always close. And the affirmation in this episode is just to get around the fact that Takato had doubts recently, which had no impact whatsoever and meant nothing.
Yep.
They were literally just to fill time.
SP says that the moment that they noticed was when Kazu tried to hold Juri's hand and she told him not to touch her and that she doesn't like to be touched. And I'm like, I noticed that too.
I mean, I don't think it's that she doesn't like to be touched in general. It's that something terrible just happened.
Yeah, and she's stressing out. The next email is from Kai Alone, and they say, okay, first off, they say that there's a little thing about the gate that Antilamon was guarding. They're not 100% sure, but if they recall correctly, the gate itself is called Suzakumon, which is a pun because mon can mean gate in Japanese. And Suzaku is the name of the vermilion bird that the holy beast Jukia... I can't say it.
Jukiaomon.
Jukiaomon? If someone can tell me how to correctly say that, I'd be really appreciative.
Tell us again.
Jukiaomon is based on, and it's the Chinese name for that bird instead. So that's why I said I wanted to call it Suzakumon, because it's easy for me to say.
Fair enough.
Lotmon and Suzy are their favourite pair, and they have a great contrast between a serious and formal warrior and happy-go-lucky innocent child.
That's literally the same mirror that we have with Jen and Terramon, except that we've spent more time with them, and Terramon is much more awesome than Suzy is.
Yeah. They also say that the English version lays on her childishness too much.
It does. Oh my god, does it?
But they enjoy her in the German version.
I will take your word for it.
They then say that later in the series, Suzy in the original tries to teach Lotmon to speak in a more modern style and teaches her to use boku instead of ware.
That's cute.
So Lotmon's a boy, basically. And I do remember that part, it's just that I didn't touch on that yet because we're not up to that part, but yeah. So it's probably good to say that, yeah, it's the more modern way of saying, ware is quite gender neutral. Boku is, boy, basically. Most commonly is said by a boy. The next email is from Chakmon, and they disagree with us. They actually preferred episode 32 to 33.
I don't remember which one's which.
Shibumi Speaks and the Antilamon episode.
Shibumi Speaks was terrible.
They do agree with us about how we thought that episode was crazy, but that's actually why they prefer that episode.
Okay.
They then say that Takaru is understandable since it's hard to trick your eyes and common sense about the water. And then they agree with you. D-Arc does look designed just to be a spaceship. They're not a fan of their design, but it looks like a big, clunky toy. Nobody even uses the strap.
What? The strap is the worst part
Takaru
of it.
uses it in Battle of Adventures, the movie.
Oh, I'm so glad it gets used in a movie. That's not even canon.
Chakmon says that he hates Suzy in the dub, and says that she has an annoying way of talking.
What are you talking about? There's nothing annoying about this at all. Oh my god, this is the best. What a great character.
Chakmon says even the original she's annoying, but not so much. And that it's sweet about how she met Antilamon and her connection that they have. Then
It's the much better version of Juri meeting Leomon. Because, it's still this energetic, kind of annoying, pay attention to me. But instead of Antilamon being like, comedy, let's run away from you, it was, okay, let's have an interaction and getting sort of slowly won over, rather than, I guess you have a Digivice now, I guess now we're friends. Damn.
Chakmon's final comment is regarding our Atmon episode, then says that the Applerize bit is a bit too much, so they agree with you, and they're looking forward to seeing Musimon.
Who's the music one?
The music one, which I'm prepared to hate because I don't know, he just looks like he's going to be annoying.
Looks awful.
On Tumblr, which we haven't had messages on for a while, so I welcome it, Crazo3077 says that they have a VHS tape with the first episode 02, and it has the recap, and they didn't realise that it was even missing from the new releases. So this is because when I mentioned that my 02 DVD that I have was missing that... where are they now, sort of...
Where are they now?
And they talk about how they're all in high school, Kari and TK are still, going to be the main characters, I guess.
They should be.
So, yeah, it was definitely in the original, because I remember watching it when I was a kid and being super hype. The next message is from an Anonymon, and they say, Shibumi may be in a coma right now, but his spirit is in the digital world.
That makes no sense whatsoever.
And then says that the one that was shown in the episode being in the real world was Mokumon disguising himself as Shibumi.
Why?
Under the control of Shibumi, who is in the digital world in a coma.
Why?
I don't know.
That's so overcomplicated with no evidence whatsoever.
I don't care. I love him. And actually, no, I don't. I love Mokumon. Mokumon's great. And then finally, from our last Anonymon, has a little poem for us. Dear May and Jay, I'm listening to the podcast and had to say, hearing you made me feel gay in the old-fashioned way, and I'm glad you were here to stay. Anonymon away. I like that.
I read that when it was on the thing. I did not notice it was a poem.
No, it's a poem.
That's solid.
It's a good poem.
That was good.
Thank you for your poetry. I'm
we
very
haven't got a
happy.
haiku in a while.
Yeah. I wonder how Wu Qinglong's doing.
Waiting for X Evolution.
God damn it, X Evolution.
Alright, everybody, join us on the next episode of Flip Flappers, The Battle Within.
What?
It's like a magical girl.
Okay. Or Showdown, Dukemon versus Beelzebon.
And No Mon is an island.
Or Battle with Zukaomon, Saint Galgomon, Ultimate Evolution.
What the hell is that?
What?
What? Okay, wait, hold on a second. You were right that Rapidmon gets back quickly, too.
What a terrible night for a curse. For Weekly Wonders this week, I'm going to again say a Pokemon thing. Pokemon Go Halloween event started.
Oh, it's Pokemon Go still.
Yeah, go away.
That's cheating.
But, it's a Halloween event. I like Halloween, actually, because we don't celebrate it here. That's why I like Halloween. I always want, but I can't have. And I can't have Halloween, so I want Halloween. What a terrible night for a curse. And yours?
Mine was, I finally played, and I've wanted to play it for so
Cyber Sleuth?
long. I played Keep Talking and Nobody
That's
Explodes.
not Cyber Sleuth.
No, it's not, but I played this game, it's super fun. It turns out you can, if only one person you know has it, you can still play it.
We can play that on VR.
Yes, you can. I really want to.
Is it on PlayStation VR?
I don't know.
Because Job Simulator
basically, to explain it to the listeners who may not know, Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes is a game where it's an asymmetrical sort of cooperative game where one person is defusing a bomb. They can manipulate this bomb around. It has little different like puzzle modules, and they can only affect it, but they do not know how to defuse it. Everyone else are like experts, and they all have a bomb manual. And there's all these really, really overcomplicated solutions to all the things. So the guy who's defusing it, who's the only one who can see the bomb, has to describe it to everybody and has to sort of delegate roles for everybody to sort of solve together. For example, it'll have stuff like, I'm doing this off the top of my head, but there's some of them are just like a button, and the button can be like any of 4 colors, it can say any kind of different amount of stuff on it, and the instruction manual will be like, if the button is red and says detonate, press it and then immediately release it. And then the next instruction is like, if there are more than 3 batteries on the bomb, you can hold it down for 3 seconds and then let go. Or if it's yellow, and there isn't this thing on the bomb, then you can do this. And you have to sort of go through them all and work it all out. It's really nuts. And there's lots of different puzzles, and it's really hard to manage. And the thing can get more and more complicated. It's really fun. It's really, really stressful, though.
I feel like I would not be good at that game.
It's really fun, though. You should try it.
If it comes out for PlayStation VR, I will.
Okay.
Well, Job Simulator is...
We can play it with Owen, because the manual's free online.
Yeah.
So if somebody has the game, anyone else can be an expert.
But anxiety.
No, but it's fun, though.
The link dump will be linked in the description, as always. And you can contact us and stay updated. You can email us at lostintranslationmon@gmail.com, or you can comment on this episode or message us on SoundCloud. You can follow us on @translationmon on Twitter and on Vine, and you can find us on Lost in Translationmon on Tumblr, Facebook, and YouTube. We have a discussion thread on With the Will, and we'll have a Reddit thread in the Digimon subreddit, and we'd really appreciate it if you were to review us on iTunes and or Stitcher.
So thank you to our Patreon supporters, being Sam Krieger, who hosts a podcast with Stevie called The Moncast, which talks about Pokemon and Digimon, Wu Qinglong, who you can find at twitch.tv/Wu Qinglong, Metal Mamimon, Joe, Anime Guy, who is Anime Guy Kurosaki and the number 1 on YouTube, Chakmon, Ishpor Bamba, Hiro Olato, who is at Hiro Olato on Twitter, Jason Morosky, Frost Maragic, who is at Frost Maragic on Twitter. I remember we called him Frost Mr. Agic.
Yeah.
Stephen Reeves, who is at WildWing64 on Twitter, Kaidawashi, Mac, Noam, Riku, Red and Garen from Breakfast with Digimon, which is another Digimon podcast that you should absolutely go listen to, and Jams.
You can also make a one-off donation on PayPal, which can be found linked in the description. It's paypal.me/airjamon. Make sure to let us know it's for the podcast. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week, and I guess for more Applemon, we will be releasing those episodes. But for the main episode, a week, hopefully, unless something happens. See you guys next week. Bye!
Bye!